but it's okay. I was not tell you let I don't know what is in your life that you need to move away tonight. It may be corona. It may be some sadness in your life. It may be something that is pressing you down. Are you ready to let it go? Come on. You want to say, come on. Move away, move away. Come on. Let's go.
Praise to Bethel Revival Choir, Joe Metal. All right, you know that you can own your own house in just 2 years with no interest repayment. Absolutely, that's possible only with Lakeside Estate. Lakeside Estate has got an exclusive offer for you, and you can own your own house in just 2 years with no interest repayment. And this offer gives you affordable payment plan, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice, and you get to choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of the Lakeside Hills clusters. So indeed, your future awaits. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. Well, as a CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. All you have to do is to call us today, and the number to call is 020-477-5042, 020-477-5042, or 020-477-5040, 020-477-5040, or 050-1418-622. 050-1418-622. So don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estates, quality home for all. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the biggest high life experience of the year. Zed Multimedia proudly presents a Zed High Life Cruise happening live on Tuesday, the 1st Sorry, Friday, the 4th of July, 2025. Just this Friday at exactly 3 p.m. at the forecourt of Zed Multimedia in East Legon. It is a Zed High Life Cruise. And the amazing part is that it's absolutely free. You don't pay a dime. And headlining this unforgettable evening is Ghana's very own Akwaboah, delivering sweet high life vibes like never before. And he's joined by two incredible acts, the legendary Samuel Owusu and the soulful Adoma. And all of them are ready to give you a live show that will stay with you forever. And Carpet's band is the Organic Band, and they will be treating us with great highlight music and backing our great artists. So if you're a business owner, you're a vendor, here's your golden opportunity. We have very limited vending stands available, so you may want to rush and secure a spot, because the whole of Ghana, the whole of Accra is coming to the forecourt of Zed Multimedia in East Legon on the 4th of July, this Friday. So for bookings and partnerships or for inquiries, you can call 055-388-3306, 055-388-3306, or 055-590-6951. 055-590-6951. Call us now. And hey, don't forget to keep listening to our live shows and follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. And we're on YouTube and TikTok at Zed Multimedia. So join, and you also get to join our trivia contest as well and stand a chance to win exclusive merchandise and souvenirs from Zed Multimedia. And pretty soon I'll put out the questions for the trivia, and you may want to attempt it and win an exclusive merchandise and souvenirs from Zed Multimedia. You can also engage us on our social media platforms. Use the hashtag Zed High Life Cruise, hashtag High Life Forever, and hashtag Zed Live 2025. It's a Zed High Life Cruise powered by Zed Multimedia, happening on Friday at exactly 3 p.m. at the forecourt of Zed Multimedia in East Legon at the American House Bridge Junction. So when I say Zed High Life Cruise, you say feel the rhythm. Zed High Life Cruise, feel the rhythm. Well, pretty soon we'll get into our market trends conversation this morning, and Emmanuel Barton, our in-house economic analyst, will be joining us for that one. Right, so we get into it pretty soon, but we enjoy this one, and we will be right back.
This July, all roads lead to Zed Multimedia for the High Life Cruise of the century. It's the Zed High Life Cruise, July 4th, 2025, at 3 p.m. sharp. Venue, Zed Multimedia Forecourt, right there at American House, close to Brick Junction. Rates absolutely free. Just come with your dancing shoes. Featuring Samuel Owusu, sensational High Life legend. With Adoma bringing the soul. And headlined by the iconic high life sensation Aquabwa.
Girl, you blow my mind and go for the.
Remember, it's free and it's live. It's the Zed High Life Cruise. Feel the rhythm, live the culture. This July, all roads lead to Zed Multimedia for the High Life Cruise of the century. It's the Zed High Life Cruise, July 4th, 2025 at 3 p.m. sharp. Venue, Zed Multimedia Forecourt, right there at American House, close to Brick Junction. Rates absolutely free. Just come with your dancing shoes. Featuring Samuel Owusu, sensational High Life legend. With Adoma bringing the soul. And headlined by the iconic high life sensation Aquabwa.
Girl, you blow my mind and go for the.
Remember, it's free and it's live. It's the Zed High Life Cruise. Feel the rhythm, live the culture. This July.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
All right, welcome back to the Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM. The song in the background is Yabuedu Jr. Pentecost Praise 2. Well, of course, it's time for us to get into our market trends conversation this morning. And today we're talking about the projections from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. And they are saying that fuel prices are likely to increase at the retail stations from the first price window of July 1, which is today. And so we want to understand what exactly is leading to that and how it is going to impact us in any way. Emmanuel Boateng, our in-house economic analyst, has joined me over the phone lines for this conversation. Ima, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to all our listeners.
Well, thank you very much for making time to join us this morning. And we're discussing a very important issue that affects all of us, the rise in fuel prices, which is set to take place or take effect from today, July 1, according to COMAC, as they warn. And so with fuel being a key part of our daily lives, the increase is bound to have an impact on the cost of transportation, goods, and services. And so would like that you share, shed some light on why this is happening and what it means for consumers and how it will affect the economy generally. And so maybe my very first question is, can you explain the reason behind the increase in fuel prices and what factors are contributing to this really?
Thank you very much. I'm rather surprised at this projection because, previously, we saw what was happening in Iran and Israel, given their role. I mean, they are in the Middle East, and they have a key role to play when it comes to oil prices. And these oil prices feed into the cost of fuel here in Ghana, because as we know, the determination of fuel prices is anchored on how global crude oil prices move. Whether or not they swing upwards or downwards impacts how much is charged fuel at the pumps here in Ghana. There is that direct relationship. There is that strong relationship between these factors that I've highlighted. More to it, if I'm looking at the reasons that are behind this projection of a likely surge in fuel prices here in Ghana, I think one, our exchange rate strengthened somewhere a month ago, and then I think it began to flatten. As we speak, I've just seen some very little fluctuations on the depreciable side, just a little depreciation over time, and not too long a time, just some few days or almost a week. And I don't think that is sufficient, really, to warrant a hike in fuel prices, because basically these are the reasons that will underpin why fuel price will go up. Because you see, the point is that if you have a strong currency and fuel prices on the global markets are shooting up, I think that your level of exposure is not as much compared to if your currency is depreciating. But we have a situation where I believe our currency is relatively stable. And so I don't see much coming from that end, because we know that fluctuations in the value, for instance, of the cedi against major currencies have an impact on the cost of importing refined petroleum products here into Ghana. And so given how, that area is playing, I don't see much coming from there. But maybe a more important argument would be on the global crude oil price changes. We've seen variations in international oil prices, and like I have told you, that has a direct influence on the cost of crude oil that we import, which would thereby affect the prices of local fuel here in Ghana. And so for that one, I see that could be a major reason why the forecast is such that fuel prices are likely to change or move upwards today. That has a major role. Just that I'm saying that Iran and Russia, Iran and Russia is troublesome. So Iran and Israel have ceased fire now. There is some level of calm to the storm that was looming. And so even with that, I'm expecting that the market would respond, the global market would respond, so that we don't go into this. One of the things that really affects our country, our economy, has to do with energy, has to do with fuel, and the rest of them. See, there are two things, if not for anything at all, maybe aside corruption. I think three dominant phrases or terms that are, pervasive in this country. If you take out corruption, the other one has to do with galamsey and doomsday. Not like I'm a prophet of doom per se, but I think you would agree with me that these terms, almost everybody's lips has mentioned them before. Is it that doomsday? Is it that galamsey or corruption? It looks like a certain triad that we find ourselves in as a country, and I think that given how the energy sector has been burdening our economy over and over again. In fact, I was impressed yesterday to an extent. I followed the conversation closely on the 24-hour economy policy. I saw some deliberations and engagement. I don't know if you were able to follow that. But one of the things that I was happy to hear was when the I don't know if it's the coordinator or so, Mr. Gushitano, was making the case for the kind of value chain they are creating, that they are going to dwell more. They are not going to focus on the grid, but they are going to dwell more on solar panels and biogas to be sources of energy for the projects and the various industries that are within the 24-hour economy and framework. And I was happy because particularly that was a recommendation that I gave here, that not everything should be connected to the grid, but we should have some solar energy, some biodiversity, among other things, so that we are able to, as it were, match up with local standards in addition to what the grid is provided, because not everything can come out of the grid. So that is essentially it. I think that the price movement in the global market is playing a key role in this, as it were, projection that the fuel prices are likely to go. And then maybe the pricing structure of our own National Petroleum Authority. It includes various cost components as we know it, and that also contributes to the overall increase in fuel price. I have said that if there is anything that we have to look at as a country, one of them will be pricing. I think some of our pricing models have to be revised, because sometimes I feel and think that the way in which we price goods and services in this country needs an audit. It needs a review to be able to, as it were, help engineer the prospects of this country.
I see. But maybe somebody's wondering, what are the specifics? How much are we expecting fuel prices to rise by? And which fuels are likely to see the increases? If you can run us through that briefly.
Another one, petrol is expected to increase by 2%, 200 basis points. Diesel expected to rise by 5%, and that is a bit more sharp compared to petrol. Yeah, so it depends on what you are driving. And then the LPG is anticipated to just rise marginally, a percentage point increase. So those are the specifics. Yeah, so it's just an upward movement. All of them are moving upward. 2% for petrol, 5% for diesel, and 1% for LPG gas. LPG. Yes.
LPG.
Yeah,
Right.
LPG gas sounds weird.
Right. Let me just. So if you're listening to us, this is Business Breakfast on Zed. For instance, if you visited any of the fuel pumps and the prices are high, you can just send us a WhatsApp 0544321019 0544321019 and let us know so that we can track what is going on. You can as well call us on 030395661 030395661 if wherever you are or you purchase fuel and it is high or the price have been increased, let us know so that we can track that. We're also streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. You can drop a comment on our posts and then we read that for you. Okay, let's continue. So what impact will this fuel price rise have on everyday Ghanaians, especially in terms of transportation and cost of living?
And you have it right, transportation will go up because, as we say, things like fuel is what we depend on for moving our cars, our vehicles, and the rest of them. It's very important. It's a very important part of our economic architecture, fuel prices. Very, very significant. Because, you see, once it affects transportation, the cascading effect is very high. Very, very high. I don't need to, belabor the point, but you know how just a surge in transport costs affects almost the price of everything in this country. Almost everything. Everything. I remember the last time I witnessed one where someone was asking the porridge seller, "Oh, they tell me food or no?" But it's interesting, and that is the stark truth. That's the reality. High fuel costs drives transportation costs higher, and that would mean you pay more to board a car from Tershi to Accra to wherever you are going to, from Madina to Ibu to wherever it is you are headed.
And that would mean that the decrease, the reduction in the prices that we saw will be short-lived.
Exactly. And this is going to feed into inflation in the long run. Because once cost of items are going up, then it has implications for inflation. So already the people are, you see, so the point is this. It's either you own a car and you are going to pay more for fuel to fuel your car for use. If you do not own a car and you move about one town to another, one city to another, and you are not working, which I don't think is highly probable, then you are going to board a car, which is also depending on fuel. And so once either you are paying for the price at the fuel pump into your own car, or you are paying it through the driver and mates who are picking you from one location to the other. That is at the individual level.
Right.
Let's move on to businesses who may be moving goods and services. Then you see that they are also going to incur additional costs as a result of the increase in transportation fares. Once that happens, we know what they do. They pass it on to consumers.
Right.
The same consumer paying for extra fuel costs to move his own body from one place to the other will now have to pay for the extra fuel cost again that has been placed by a producer or a supplier on the goods and services that a consumer wishes to patronize at the same income level. So you can see the impact on the consumer appears a bit more multidimensional, not just at one level, but at multiple levels. Then the big one feeds into our inflation, and therefore once that happens, we will see that the real income of anybody falls. Because your real income is the proportion of your income that is adjusted for by inflation. And so when there is a rise in price and we divide your income by that price, it gives us an idea of how much you have available to spend on the goods business you often buy. And once it is inflation, it means you can buy less of what the same money could have bought previously.
I see.
So when I want to go, it will look like I'm just saying bad things. But that is how it plays out when fuel prices go up. So household expenditure will increase, real income will fall, purchasing power will fall, and the rest of them. Inflation, that will affect economic growth, etc., etc. And that is not something that we want. And that is why we are making calls for, let's not only depend on, as it were, fossil fuel cars, electric vehicles. I think last week you were mentioning the minister in charge for, I don't know, one of
energy.
Energy, yes.
Yeah.
And how electric vehicles are going to be used to move members of parliament, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we need to move towards that. I think very recently, I think right from November last year or so, I've been seeing some electric vehicles, like long buses, that have been picking people. I saw one in front of Legon some time ago, and they passed by and all. Yeah, so those are, because you see, the point is, if these fuel prices go up, what is the implication for electric vehicles? Almost nothing.
Yeah.
Certainly, once it's affecting the economy, they also have their fair share. But then you note that directly it doesn't feed into that. And so if we have a mix, if we have good alternatives, you know, I mean, the implications are different. In Ghana, it's only cars that are working. Just a few people. There are no trains. And, you know, the sky train couldn't come up. So that is the situation we find ourselves in. So in talking about the consequences of these, I also took the time to highlight what could be done so that we can avert some of these looming dangers that are not self-inflicted, but that come from the external market and then thereby affecting our local economy. Yeah.
I see. But is there a link between the global oil market and the city's value and how these affect fuel prices here in Ghana?
There is a direct link. Very direct.
I see.
Very direct. And it's like asking if there is a direct link between hunger and food. There is. You see, international crude oil price fluctuations directly impact the cost of importing refined petroleum products. And that will influence your local fuel prices. And we've demonstrated that already. Let's look at the cedi's value. Exchange rates between the Ghana cedi and, say, the dollar, for instance, would affect the cost of your imports.
Right.
Because if your currency is strong, then it means you need just some few cedis to be able to get it in terms of importation. But on the other hand, if it is weak, then you need more cedis to be able to import.
Okay.
So when it is a stronger currency for you, a stronger cedi for you, the cost is relatively lower compared to when it is depreciating. Once it's depreciating, your cost is very high. So a weaker cedi increases import costs, and that will lead to higher fuel prices. So it adds on to the higher fuel prices in the domestic market.
I see.
And so, my brother, the interconnected factors, these are interconnected factors that I'm highlighting, explain the vulnerability of our fuel pricing to global economic dynamics. There is a direct link between the global oil markets, the value of the cedi, and how it affects Ghana. This one is clear. Even from the little I've shared, everyone can see that there is a clear
link. Hello, Ima.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. I think the network was breaking. Yeah, so maybe you can help us also understand this. Can you explain how the NPA, National Petroleum Authority, manages these price fluctuations, and what role does government play in regulating these increases?
Well, let me start from the government.
Okay.
The government sets policies and regulations, of course, that will influence anything. They should be there, but their budgets will even influence fuel pricing. You see, sometimes we don't see government budget. It's a policy. It's an economic statement. What the government decides to spend on has implications for the growth prospects of the economy. That is why the budget of the government is very, very, very important. It's an important document. There is a name for it. I'm just checking that up.
All right, sure.
I'm just trying to get the more very recent budget that was passed by this government.
The financial, is it the financial policy?
Yes. Something like that. Yes. But I think it's longer than that.
Yeah, I think the fiscal. Okay, maybe we can all try and see if we can find it. So budget statement and economic policy, or that's what you're looking for.
If that is how it's called, then that is it. Budget statement. So you see, it's a policy.
Yes, it's a
Many people don't know it's a policy, but it is a policy. The budget is a policy, and that is why close attention should be given to budget statements. So it's a policy direction. It is like, okay, today let's assume we are the president and the finance minister of Ghana. And we've decided to do many things for this country to be able to fare on the growth prospects of Ghana. The number of things we want to do are policy directions. We want to do, we want to do 24-hour economy, we want to do this, Women Development Bank, want to do that, want to do. I hope you got the things I'm listening. Exactly, I'm listening. Now, each of these items have financial implications. Then the big question is, how are we going to finance each of these projects? And you will note that it is the budget that tells us how much has been allocated for each of them, including, of course, statutory payments like salaries and those things. This is our assembly staff. Those ones are there. But then clearly, the policy we are running with as a government find expression in the budget. Therefore, if there is any policy we campaigned with that does not find expression in the budget, then that policy and can't be. Because, there's nothing to drive it. It's an implementation. Like, money must be allocated. Not just allocated, must also be disbursed. And the budget is what gives us that ability, that authority to access where disburse funds across items. We cannot just go and spend, no. So that budget itself is a policy direction. And so if today mid-year budget comes, it will come sometime up in the coming weeks or so. If mid-year budget comes up and there is something on allocation for solar for this country, that is a policy direction on solar energy.
Okay.
And that is how it plays out. So the government sets policies and regulations, and some of these policies can affect the pricing of fuels. For instance, if the budget tells us that there is a tax on fuel, like I think recently there was a tax that was supposed to be introduced, a cedi per liter of oil. That should.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There was a tax that was supposed to be introduced, a cedi per liter of oil.
Yeah.
That is a policy, and that is taxation. That helps the government to raise the revenue. They told us what they were going to use the money for, I think to settle some energy sector debts. But that 1 cedi per liter of oil is going to increase the price of oil. Do the graph. Because that is an additional cost. It means that for every liter of oil that you would have bought at a certain price, it is that price plus 1.
Right.
And that is how government plays a role in regulating these increases and decreases. I mean, because along that pricing mechanism, there are lots of government input that goes in there by way of policy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other half has to do with the response government can make in view of these market conditions. The government may implement measures to stabilize the prices and protect us, consumers, from excessive increases over time. Yeah, and then in terms of the NPA's pricing mechanism, it's a pricing window system they run where they review and adjust fuel prices periodically based on the factors that we've listed, like the global oil prices, exchange rate dynamics, import costs, among other things. So, yeah, that is how it is. So I wanted to start from the government side because I would have more to say there. Then I ended with what the NPA does.
I see. Maybe my last question to you will be that looking ahead, what can Ghanaians expect in terms of further price hikes or any potential relief in the fuel sector, especially with the global market volatility?
And let's pay attention to exchange rate movements because, as we have explained, it has an impact on fuel prices, especially importation. So once that is there, I mean, we know. I don't know of somebody who say my oil refinery is there, but we know how. I don't know why I laughed.
They are coming back small.
They are coming.
Yeah. They're recovering.
Better late than never. Yes. So that is that potential for further future increases in prices. I mean, so long as we know what Russia, Ukraine did, what Israel and Iran could have done, because just for a short while we saw how it was impacting the market. So geopolitical tensions can sometimes, especially if it's among oil-producing countries or around the Middle East and the rest of them, has implications for price and also global oil prices, how they swing, whether they move up or down, has implications for how fuel prices here in Ghana are going to be like. And then, of course, quality reforms is very, very important. We know COMAC has called for a comprehensive review of petroleum downstream regulations in order to enable more cost-effective operations and protect consumers from extreme volatile international price shocks. And these developments specifically highlight the importance of strategic policy interventions to ensure energy affordability and economic stability. See, whatever we do with fuel, whatever we do with our energy, has a cascading effect on almost every part of our economy. So it is a big deal, and we need to pay close attention to that.
All right, Ima, thank you very much for your time. It's been a great conversation. Really grateful. All right, that was Emmanuel Boating, our in-house economic analyst, helping us understand what is going on in terms of fuel pricing here in Ghana. The COMAC had projected that we're going to see a rise in fuel prices today, and we try to understand what the details were, and would love to still hear from you. If you pass by any fuel station and you see that the prices have increased in any way, feel free to let us know, and then that will be of help to us greatly. Well, but we get into our roundtable discussion pretty soon. Thank you very much for sticking and staying with us right from 6:15 a.m. till this point. We'll get into our roundtable discussion, which is the main conversation for the day. And my guest will join me in studio for that one very soon. Today, we're talking about the state of fintech in Ghana. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Says you wanna go Africa, I said that's 54 countries. And every place different caliber, different flavors, tell me what you need. How far? Hurry up, I'm about to leave. Been in Babylon way too long, gotta get that break, that pedal and switch. Take shots at a Zanzibar, chop mishkaki by the ocean beach. Cognac with the locals, take time cause you're stronger than a lion teeth. See an old volcano, climb Kilimanjaro, that's the highest peak. See the pharaohs in Egypt, Tutankhamun and Ramesses. And when you see those statues staring at you, you will see where the original G's turn up a Great Pyramid of Giza. Ancient wonders and dynasties. Says you wanna go Africa, I said that's 54 countries. And every place different caliber, different flavors, tell me what you need. How far?
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
Way too long, gotta get that break, that pedal and switch. We can go to Zimbabwe, see how the water fall into the Zambezi. Picnic in the safari, then drive through jacaranda trees. Snorkeling at Seychelles, crystal clear oceans, you can see those reefs. For the water's on your feet, say shallow waters got the cleanest beach. And when we touch down, I cry, you got day like rock, and I get some 2 hours sleep, cause everywhere lit like Christmas tree. My area code +233. Says you wanna go Africa, I said that's 54 countries. And every place different caliber, different flavors, tell me what you need. How far? Hurry up, I'm about to leave. Been in Babylon way too long, gotta get that break, that pedal and switch. I got plugs in, them plugs in, I'm all plugs in. I got plugs in, them plugs in, I'm all plugs in. Camel riding from the Sahara to Marrakesh, watch the sunset bleed. Dance with the Maasai in Nairobi, swim with the dolphins in Mozambique. Hit Kampala, no Wahala, chop Ugali and feast. Monday to Monday, the turn up speak. Don't know any difference at the end of the week. Or we could turn up in Lagos, maybe Abuja, where we can get some peace. See things that you won't believe, don't believe everything that you watch and read. Says you wanna go Africa, I said that's 54 countries. And every place different caliber, different flavors, tell me what you need. How far? Hurry up,
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
Zed 101.9 FM.
I came with the spirit on the yatta, I can never be afraid. I came with the energy of Shaka, you go things say you're crazy. I came as the child of my father, I give thanks and praise. And I came with the spiritual armor, may the anointing spray. First of all, make a pour before man proceed. There's a silent war up in DRC. If you're poverty porn and the truth you seek, the new Africa was born to fulfill the dream. Can't forget the powers that's instilled in me. I know say there's powers that been shielding me. I told them from Bad A to BBC that we the Africans who know what the children need. So fall back, we can kick it on our road. Black man stand up, we're sitting on the throne. Ruling everywhere, yeah, we're killing on the globe. And we're building back a home in a different kind of zone. I came with the spirit on the yatta, I can never be afraid. I came with the energy of Shaka, you go things say you're crazy. I came as the child of my father, I give thanks and praise. And I came with the spiritual armor, may the anointing spray. You never ever know what it feel like. Pretend to be someone else in a real life. You can never be yourself cause you feel like for the sake of the salary you had to put your pride to the side. The cost to have a dream. My CV was written in European, said I was captured through the Euro lens. Too much baggage being African, we used to pretend to Caribbean. Now I feel it in my soul. Do, re, mi, Burkina Faso. But they will never show or give us the glory. The hunter, the hero, to the lion start telling story. I came with the spirit on the yatta, I can never be afraid. I came with the energy of Shaka, you go things say you're crazy. I came as the child of my father, I give thanks and praise. And I came with the spiritual armor, may the anointing spray. I came with the spiritual on the yata, I can never be afraid. I came with the energy of Shaka, you go think say I craze. I came as the child of my father, I give thanks and praise. And I came with the spiritual armor, may the anointing spray.
It's your lifestyle lurcher and business radio.
101.9 FM.
We are the sons of the new Africa, where the sounds of nature anchor us. From the land of Suya,
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
From Sakumono, Ojolegba, Nairobi to Accra's. We sing songs originally narrated by ancestors to create science, ointments, navigations, algebras. We birthed the sojourners, Obasanjo, Nelson, Angelas. We survived oppression, neglect and adversity. Because we saw opportunity and negotiated advantages. No longer subpar, okay-ish, novice or amateurs. Black is excellence. African is excellence. We fought against the fires they used to try and burn us. Did they forget that we were children of the sun? So we rose from the ashes, filled with the spirits of the new Africa, where the sounds of nature anchor us. From the
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
Tomorrow, no, they promise to nobody. So today, I go love you like say tomorrow, no day. Cause tomorrow, no, they promise to nobody. So today, I go love you like say tomorrow, no day. 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 Like say tomorrow, no. Like say tomorrow, no day.
You want to Mr. Right, I'm Mr. Right now. I can turn a tear into a bright smile. Damn, what a year. How many fights now? Still your love and be my vice. How? I do you wrong. Shit show. Yeah, I know. Sorry though. Make I tell you what I think of often. I don't deserve all your awesome, but truthfully, I've been on the misery bench. This misery will not rinse, it rather repeats. Now my heart they beat off beats. Insomnia, man know they sleep. I think about you on a daily. How I find myself in a maze, it amazed me. Be like me, then you be what it will be like. Simply receive for your D like, sick of.
Tomorrow, no, they promise to nobody. So today, I go love you like say tomorrow, no day. Yeah. Like say tomorrow, no day. Like say tomorrow, no day. Like say tomorrow, no day.
Day for you like you day for me. Whisper in the wind with the sweetest melody. World full of sin and I know say you degree. Set sail, let it breeze, make love on the seas. I know say yes, T. I was really on some bullshit. Today be today, love loaded with a full clip. Captured on camera, I really need it. If tomorrow never comes, at least we did. Do the most and be reckless. Palm one for lunch and dinner for breakfast. I mean, we know they care, carefree, all in excess. Alive in the moment like we never had excess. You turn me on, you make me strong. You're a perfect song, sweet sing along. There no be any other place where you belong. Sun down, sun up, we loving on.
Thank God in the morning. Thank you for your loving. I don't know if I deserve it. All I know is that I no go tired. Everything you say, baby, let me stand in my hand. Like I'm walking on water, and my size 12 Jordans. And in the middle of the ocean, that's every time you give me loving. Cause tomorrow, no, they promise to nobody. So today, me, I go love you like say tomorrow, no day. Cause tomorrow, no, they promise to nobody. So today, I go love you like say tomorrow, no day. Yeah. Like say tomorrow, no day. Like say tomorrow, no day.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
I'm too blessed to be a loser. And Kaninu, I was a breadwinner. And then Shana Jimmy is a fever. What else? I told me lies, so when you're lying, my family who, I don't mean to. They say I'm here trying to such a My trying to such ingam.
Sika ni go boto mu a wutiti se jointi. Inti kakra be shemo ho apedansi na kitchen ayakata for you so wo dweza hwanti. When you chop money a wo bury amanti. Me kai menimu ni suo taifa. Sika semti me hwe me do for vida wo se me say fa Kaiser de so ma Kaiser. Na sika wo pedi via senya taxi driver ayo. Ebusua si metinye me ye nipa so me ne mo na din se ma ye yanka mo kana mebre na mo hwe ya jimi to kolebu obi a me hwe me sinne enanya me ato me pona me nye twan sen atamfo na hye sikojo to say that the same me su no mo afie me na bone ben e de me hu nyansa bebi sase ba ne sen wa pepe mu fi what else
my trying to such ingam. Baby, I will be present and ready. And I mean, send a million, I'm getting. I am my body, I'm in your pepper. What else? When I just and I am and they just want me. They didn't change you, know what I mean. Yeah. I don't be a dream when I'm in the no more dream. I
can't me dipona kwechi. The swap on body to school fees. Peter say I won't be basis me GD. Obi am me bosi am posa me beji 2G. Timenu me ni wobi aka. Kakra beto me ho amoma me ni asa. Enye tete mere no and then bia bante wan hwe woni a wachi na bi go betu aka. Nye honhom ne ka kira safo. Adwin finti muntu me nda mompaso. Me wu aka modi sika be go me na so wonya me ne sanu nyuma me na me da so me na so. Me ko me nim no na wo twe base. Me tu pon no na twede ye watwe. Ye de ebra me no na wosi akoje. Ma woni se me ye twan to say me ko me nim no na wo twe base. Me tu pon no na twede ye watwe. Ye de ebra me no na wosi akoje. Me woni se me ye twan to chingam.
Se see me ye twan to chingam. Baby, I am going to be my trying to such ingam. Baby, I am going to be see me trying to such ingam. Baby, I am going to be
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
Yo, if you come why I say, but we go fiki nata. High grade family, West Side legacy. It's Dr. Ray on the beat. Lada Mercy, make it time for life and family. We come back it up, lock it up, that can't take this. Yeah, no. Dada bless me drop one, then one cause traffic. Better no man, I've it up, change this that last me at dash me. Okay, my bag in the shamba. I go look for so Fiana. Shadi Yaba, 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 Dada, they die a hustle, and I shall and I rather see Shada, yeah, boy, where they get them? Give me that to wind up. Yo, Bushu, Yajidu, Nayakwa Klaba, Yo, Bobo, Yeshogu, Nayajikapa, Yoko School, Yabahan, Nayabavaka, forget to gala you when you want to physical. Sometimes forget to gala. Yo, Yanko Bio. Sometimes forget to gala you when you want to physical. Sometimes forget to gala. The baby Biani Pobaka, the Jessica Passage no Passa, against the phone of the shot, they want Padana, Pata, Jaina, one faha. I'm a yanja willing or some bar man down. Second in a taddy, buggers of raspberry now on a dab. Why they escape from Sobibo? Billy Banu, Billy come, Aberdimpo. You boom out too low, 247 our town. Shall they catch the one? There you be we'll be champagne, no, maybe. Check it between. What you say, Tim Naista? Measure that way. Let's say we be Luna be fear. Where can no play? The minty will breaking the issue. Back so that hang last stop. In here, not in here, I'm out going to saw. Two winners steady, no boom in the so yellow wine, and I wind up my booby account. DJ, bring the tune back again. A sort of fancy, oh, I say. Franco from Guessy, well, it can give that some problem and come. Yandama wanda, beating the piafo bulanga. But I will be from my mama, Facha me the oppressed Wakanda. Biffy, Uncle Ligina Hama Anti Madi Alabama, and Bayalan cruising. Massa Melissa, waking the Chilla Bacada, and Uncle Papa, and Uncle Lism. Yoboshu, Yojidu, Nayakwa Klaba, Yobobo, Yeshobu, Nayaja Kappa, Yokosku, Yabahad, Nayabavaka. I say, no, you. Yeah, when I win your fair, but I did one of our share.
TH.com.
Fresh.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
Another. Oh, what? If I say I know they hear, all my guys know they hear, manifesto know they hear, oh. All my people know they hear. Put the song for repeat, make the people them feel, oh. Me I make the girl them go low, low. My thing you know be low, low. I rather than a so go low. See the pity make a go low, low. We get the vibe, oh, yo. How the thing go, yo. See we know they hear, yo. Boys know they hear, yo. Get the vibe, oh, yo. How the thing go, yo. See we know they hear, yo. Boys know they hear, yo. Whoa.
Newton's on the horizon. When they cock the code, then we rising. They say that manifest is polarizing. Boys know the year, who are you advising? Mint here, that's a true feeling. Tell these old dogs I'm a new villain. Your 2 cents a nuisance, I know shillings. I did go from underdog to top billing. Fuck the world with a Trojan too. Boys know they hear, Charlie, that's a slogan too. On my P's and Q's and my ones and twos. Keep the same energy when I run into you. My mind going on so. I call on home, but it's a medicine so. Never back, never go. Boys know they hear, I didn't win you so.
We get the vibe, oh, yo. How the thing go, yo. See we know they hear, yo. Boys know they hear, yo. Get the vibe, oh, yo. How the thing go, yo. See we know they hear, yo. Boys know they hear, yo. Whoa.
Yeah, don't be say we know they respect, we know they hear. Can't shout smiles if you know they shout tears. Tell a low life that we on the upper tiers. You know be my mate still. They talk, shout. But we know they listen, we just talk about. New ammunition, we not hostile. Cause we get a vision. Pop styles every day we're transmitting. Young Cassius Clay is what channel here. On stage dolo, I don't need a panel here. It appears even puppeteers not my peer. All my peers and chairs while the crowd cheers. I'm out going out so. I pull out home power, cement and so. Never, never. Boys know they hear, but we here, we know the stop.
What?
Yeah.
If I say I know they hear, all my guys know they hear, manifesto know they hear, oh. All my people know they hear. Put the song for repeat, make the people them feel, oh. Me I make the girl them go low. My thing you know be low. I rather than a so go low. See the pity make a go low. We get the vibe, oh, yo. How the thing go, yo. See we know they hear, yo. Boys know they hear, yo. Get the vibe, oh, yo. How the thing go, yo. See we know they hear, yo. Boys know they hear, yo.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
I'm a K-E-L, me, I never gonna be nobody. I'm a K-L, me, you know, Jimmy. But when I come out my pants, they see me, then they jump on me. They say, men pay me, who I say, mo, intina, men kuna meda. But if your eye red, when you miss me, jiga, if I be nobody. Then why say you give me no show? You better check yourself. Charlie, can't come, woman. Can't clean, I can walk a bag, woman.
Me and my boys, we all elu. And if you know they see me for town, you know they mean say one year jeku. They say me pay me who say mo intina menko na meda. But if you ain't ready, when you miss to me jiga, chale you know why? It be God, they bless my list. So next time you say my name, chale put some respect on it. You better check yourself, chale. Can't clean, I can walk a bag, woman. Can't clean, I can walk a bag, woman. But if you ain't ready, when you miss to me jiga, you say miss to me jiga. But if you love me, I dey love you. My body, I no go fit to dog you. And if you don't like me, massaging so na goda, you better check yourself. Can't clean, I can walk a bag, woman. Can't clean, I can walk a bag, woman. Can't clean, I can walk a bag, woman. Can't clean, I can walk a bag, woman.
And for X, come with the bomb star. Yamiyade, Wumbo no say, Yamiyati, Wumbo no say, Aba. The woman, Yamiyade. As I'm sure I'm a sake, on Yamina wire, Gana for Wonka. Hey, Adamani, I don't mean, on Yamina wire, Gana for Wonka. Hey, and I met Tassa, that's your mother body. We are what you video for Sunday Mumu and I do Morocco. And I met Tassa, that you remember body we are. What a video for Sunny Mumu and I do Morocco. Yamina Wayeti Wankada. Ose, Yamina Wayeti Wankada. Ose, Yamina Wayeti Uyman. Uyman, Ose, Yamina Wayeti Wankada. Ose, Yamina do. Ode Wumbonoze, Yamina Yeti Wumbonoze. I came, I saw, I conquered it all. Yamina Casa wash me ba. Ossiden, Ossimamumbo. Munkodona minya no more. Ziwa chinchina mama birakwa. I've been a wasama, mama Musimaya Humjama Mikira. Ebe, I'm gonna do my. I question a brain in it. He made me the winner, the head no the tail. Goodness and message that follow me. Wash me for so now I come about this mendi. Papa was in the new and I met Tassa that you are my body. We are what you really for Sunny Mumu and I do Morocco. Nane, me Tassa that you are my body. We are what you really for Sunny Mumu and I do Morocco. Yamina Wayeti Wangada. Ose, Yamina Wayeti Wangada. Ose, Baya kwa send them Miami action ya power. I was a man baba made a channel by chat as unkawada. Iti when you yam ya one night yam ya why be a man you man we man yam ya one night sa why be a man papa was it and you one gada
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
101.9 FM.
Them girls is about you too. Them they talk about me, yeah. If your body they want you, I gotta pray, make I go higher, I gotta go to the top higher, I gotta pray, make I go higher. They gonna do it higher. I gotta move with him, they go to higher. Counting the paper, $10. Who got blessed, you know the chop baller, boy, chop baller. Beg no friend from no informer. Them go show you $2. Them go see about me, yeah. Them go see about you too. Them they talk about me, yeah. If your body they want you, I gotta pray, make I go higher. I gotta go to the top higher. I gotta pray, make I go higher. They gonna do it higher. Goodness and mercy shall follow me. So me no further no enemy. On top of blessings, me belly can't hungry. I will be taddy and color me. My table full up and I run over. My cup it a run over. I me sing pull up, me them mat over. Them no like say take over.
All right, welcome back. Thank you very much for sticking and staying with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nietzsche Hamon. It's time for us to get into our roundtable discussion, and it's exactly 11 minutes after 9. And we are joined in studio by our guest now until we can get into our conversation. Now, today we're diving into a topic that is shaping the future of money and innovation in Ghana, the state of fintech, really in Ghana. So from mobile money and digital lending to fraud, consent, and also regulations, fintech is reshaping how Ghanaians react with money. But as the sector grows, so do the questions. Is everyone benefiting? Are we safe? What are the next steps? And joining us is Mr. Martin Kwame Awaga. And I saw his name, Kwame Fintech. He's the president of the Ghana Fintech and Payment Association, and he's joined me in studio for this conversation. Mr. Awaga, you're welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Thank you, Nee, and thank you for having me. Yeah. I'm glad to be here. But the name is actually not Kwame Fintech. It's Fintech Kwame. The other way around.
What's the inspiration?
I think I was on an interview last week and the same question was asked.
Right.
I mean, it's just branding.
Okay.
It's an industry I'm passionate about, and how these tools can empower our people in terms of getting them their livelihoods and making businesses strive. I mean, everything is fintech, and fintech is everything. So basically, you cannot live without fintech solutions these days, and that is why basically I decided to use the name as a to brand myself and create that awareness. Most importantly,
I see. Amazing. And you're the president of Ghana Fintech and Payment Association.
Yeah.
What exactly does the association do?
Okay, so the association is basically like any other association that exists to serve as the mouthpiece of an industry. So basically, just like you have the Ghana Association of Banks that actually serves as the a go-to industry body for all commercial banks in the country. We also have the association, or the FinTech Association, that serves as the mother body of all the fintechs operating in Ghana. And what we basically do is the advocacy for the industry, the education, capacity building and training, and making sure that, most importantly, we serve as the bridge between the industry and the regulators when it comes to championing the legislations and then the policies needed to ensure the industry strives and is able to work for everybody operating in there.
In the space. Interesting. All right, so let's get into our conversation, and we'll start by grounding ourselves really with the concept of fintech and all of that. What is that really, and why should people care about fintech? In your introduction, you said fintech is everything, and everything is fintech, and now you can't do away with that. What exactly is fintech?
So I've received this question a lot of times, like numerous times, in terms of people asking me, what is fintech? Now, fintech is basically, or the fin and tech is basically an abbreviation of financial technology.
Okay.
Now, most people think too broad or too technical about what fintech exactly is. But when you look at fintech, or when you look at the broader picture of fintech or what it encapsulates, you are basically looking at or talking about mobile money, cryptocurrencies,
right,
crowdfunding, digital payments. All this are some of the technologies or tools that are delivered through a fintech business.
Okay.
That's why I said everything is fintech. So basically, even the banks now can even be considered as fintechs, because they also undertake digital payments, or they also sometimes, I mean, some of the banks have, or most of the banks now do this mobile banking and online or web banking, and that is delivered through technology.
That's true.
So, and it is finance.
Right.
So anything finance that is delivered through technological means is basically fintech.
I think that's the easiest definition I've come across. Wow, very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to break them down. But you mentioned crowdfunding. You mentioned mobile money.
Yeah.
Which other ones? Are they dimensions? What are they?
There are a lot. I mean, the industry is growing, and at a pace that regulators are not even able to keep up. So, like I said, I mentioned mobile money.
Yeah.
So most people think mobile money is something entirely different from fintech, but that is fintech.
Okay.
Most people think digital payments, QR codes, POS systems. The technology is the POS.
Right.
You understand? So all these are fintech. Solutions or platforms, mobile apps, online web platforms that you use. So anything that except cash, any platform, any mobile app, any digital solution that allows you to be able to conduct a certain financial service or transaction, it's a fintech.
It's a fintech.
Yes.
Interesting. So how did, I mean, I want to believe that the mobile money is relatively the popular, I mean, the most popular one when we come to Ghana. How did it begin in Ghana, really, and how has it changed over the years?
So basically, mobile money is actually a case study by DFID in Kenya, called M-Pesa in 2007.
Yeah,
so it came to Kenya in 2007, and 2008 we decided to also, so Ghana became one of the leading countries to jump on that wagon.
Wow.
So just like those days, basically through the idea of sending a text message or sending, those days, even now you can send credit. I can send credit from my phone, or phone credit from my phone to your phone. And just with that idea, a case study was drawn out that if I can send credit from my phone to you, then that means we can, money is just numbers. It's just digits.
That's true.
So if I say I'm sending 20 CDs worth of credit to you, the same concept can be replicated through digital means. And that's how mobile money was actually born. That's how simple it is. And this started in 2007 in Kenya. And Ghana became one of the leading adopters of the whole concept or ideology in 2008. And that is how it has grown over the years.
So how has it changed? What have we seen? What are some of the changes we've seen in the...
Well, a lot of changes, actually. If you were to ask me, I would say mobile money has traversed the fintech ecosystem.
Right.
So it's a whole ecosystem on its own. And mobile money is actually one of the leading ecosystems currently. So aside mobile money, like I said, we also have remittances. That's also a fintech business.
Okay.
So mobile money in itself has, to put it, grown. In terms of this growth, we have seen it deliver financial technology in a way that, has built some of the companies to become super companies delivering super apps. For instance, when you look at the mobile money platform now, even when you dial *170# or *110#, you would find that there are different products on that same platform. You have insurance, you even have crowdfunding on there, you even have digital lending or micro lending or micro credit on those platforms. And so that's how advanced the platform has become now.
Interesting stuff. But who are the major players now? Is it banks, startups, and what role do each of them play?
So according to the Payment Systems and Services Act, that is the law that guides the operations of fintech business in the country, the Payment Systems and Services Act.
Okay.
Now, that law actually clarifies the businesses of fintechs and has been able to segment them in different categorizations. So you have the dedicated or the EMIs. Dedicated or EMIs basically means electronic money issuers.
Okay.
So the electronic money issuers are what we call the mobile money businesses. You have companies like ZPay. You have MTN Mobile Money Limited. You have Airtel Tigo Cash. And you have Telecel Cash. No, Haftel is not part of the EMIs. So I'm talking about the categorizations.
Right.
So when you come to the mobile money ecosystem, Haftel is not a mobile money operator. These are the ones that are the mobile money businesses or so random. ZPay, MTN Mobile Money Limited, Airtel Tigo Cash, and then Telecel Cash. These are the businesses that are involved in mobile money in Ghana presently and are licensed under the EMI category of the Payment Systems and Services Act. Then we have the payment service providers. That segment alone is categorized into 4. We have the enhanced, the scheme, and standard and medium. So the company you mentioned, Haftel falls under the enhanced payment service provider category of the regulations that make sure or regulates fintechs in Ghana. But presently we have about 60 licensed fintechs in Ghana in that whole category.
The last time I checked, I think it was around 42.
No, now we are 60.
Wow.
Licensed businesses in that category.
It means that the industry is actually growing
beyond our imagination.
What are your projections for the next, say, 5 years?
For me, I think everything, like I said, everything is fintech and fintech is everything. I think on a daily basis, businesses do financial transactions. They receive money, they send money out. Even you as an individual, you receive money, you send money out. Governments also receive money. So that whole ecosystem is being provided with tools that would allow for ease of financial transactions without being encumbered or and hindered by long queues in the bank. I mean, if I were to ask you in all honesty, have you ever been happy or excited about your
queue?
Exactly.
No.
About your banking, about your commercial banking processes? I mean, I asked the same question to my colleague the last time on an interview, and he was like, "No way." You understand? But what fintechs bring to the table is the convenience that the commercial banks were not able to bring. The convenience, the speed, the trust. And most importantly, the ability to reach the last mile, which is financial inclusion.
And we'll talk about that very soon. But has fintech come to replace the traditional banking?
I won't say replace. Of course, banks are going to be with us the medium to long term. They are not going anywhere. They are not actually going anywhere soon. They are going to be with us for quite the long haul. But then their operations, their business modules are bound to change, and they are changing. You understand? They would basically be doing the heavy lifting when it comes to a lot of compliance measures in the back end, and fintechs will be delivering, will now be the front-facing, customer-focused and customer focused solutions.
Solutions, right.
That's basically what is going to happen. But the banks are not going anywhere. They'll be with us. Yes, we want them to be with us.
Right, of course. Well, if you just tune in, this is Business Breakfast on Zed, exactly 24 minutes after 9. And there's a roundtable discussion. This morning we're talking about fintech, the state of fintech in Ghana. And I've been joined by the president of the Ghana Fintech and Payment Association. His name is Mr. Martin Kwame Awaga.
Yes.
And he's a fintech Kwame. And he's helping us understand what exactly the whole fintech thing is about. Now, let's talk about financial inclusion. Now, I know one of the promises of fintech is that they're going to open access to finance so that even in communities where there are no infrastructure, I mean roads to those places, fintech can connect us in one way or the other. But who is still excluded? Rural dwellers, elderly, or the informal sector? Which people are excluded?
All of them in that bracket.
They are excluded.
They are excluded, but not entirely excluded, because mobile money has come to bridge that gap. Now, let's cast our mind back to about 15, 20 years ago or 10 years ago. You'd bear with me that the banks were not able to reach those people because of their brick and mortar kind of like systems. So you'd also ascertain or bear with me that back then, I mean, it was as a result of the banks not being able, or commercial banks not being able to reach the rural areas. That's how come we saw the proliferation of, the creation of rural banks, or savings and loans that were able to go to the hinterland. But even that, financial inclusion became a problem. So we have three categories of people that are financially excluded. We have the unbanked. These are people who are not entirely in the banking system. Then we have the underbanked. These are people who do not really take advantage, even though, for instance, these people may have a bank account, but do not take advantage of the other banking or the financial sector solutions. We have solutions like maybe insurance. So those are underbanked people. So we have unbanked, underbanked, and underserved.
What's the difference?
Underserved, these are people who are not really even getting the banks to even approach them to get a bank account. So these are the people we would call those who are basically in the hinterlands. So what did fintech came to do? Fintech or mobile money provided that bridge where even with your mobile number, you can have access to. I remember when Dr. Baumia was talking about interoperable systems and was also talking about, being able to get every Ghanaian a wallet or a bank account. That was basically what he was talking about. So basically, once you have a digital wallet or once you have a phone number, you can have access to a mobile money wallet or a mobile money account that enables you to undertake financial services. And this was enabled basically because of infrastructure like the GIPS infrastructure and interoperable systems by the telcos that were expanding internet access to these rural areas, mobile money, internet or smartphone penetration and all that. Even feature phones undertake mobile money records or undertake mobile money services. So these are things that are happening. So financial inclusion is rather reducing in this current day and age, unlike in some years where the banks were not able to actually do anything about it.
But what exactly are the stats in there? I mean, for the unbanked, underbanked, and underserved, do you have the statistics?
No, I think for all of them, they are all, so for financial inclusion in Ghana, research is saying that we are actually doing between 68% to 70%. That's by Findex. But when you look at just the mobile money enclave or the mobile money industry alone, whereby people now have a phone number. I mean, some of us, even you, I think you have more than 2 phone numbers, and they are both registered on mobile money. So that basically means people are having more access to a digital wallet or mobile wallet than commercial banks. So that has increased in that sphere, or with that understanding. Mobile money or mobile wallets are rather more enhancing financial inclusion. But there's the other discussion, which is, are they making use of these other digital solutions, like the insurance, like the digital credit? So all these are issues. For instance, let's take imagine your farmer or your uncle who is a farmer in the village who does not have access to finance, but through mobile money platforms like this, they can get quick loans or quick credit or microcredit to do one or two things. So just with that idea, initially they couldn't. They have to go through to a bank, and that takes some kilometers. And to even get there, they have to present documents upon documents they don't have. So for me, the issue of financial inclusion is basically the ability to have access to finance. Once you have access to finance and with low interest rates, what happens is you can invest in your business, you can invest in yourself, and then we all are empowered. So for me, economic empowerment is what fintech is actually leading to achieve. And that is where I say everything is fintech. Yeah.
I see. All right. So what barriers are stopping people from using fintech tools now? Is it access?
The first one is e-levy. When e-levy came, we but e-levy. I mean, the policymakers know that was actually a barrier because you don't tax something you don't know, and you don't tax something that is new, and people are now trying to jump on board it. And two, because of the increasing spate of mobile money fraud and this thing, it's also disallowing people to, basically go onto those platforms. But one of the things I would like to say also is, and to clarify the air, is that with a corresponding increase or acceleration in the adoption and uptake of mobile money or fintech services or solutions, there is that it basically indicates that there's also an acceleration in some of these issues, some of these risks that the industry is seeing. I mean, the current Bank of Ghana fraud report indicates that fraud has increased, or digital fraud has increased in the country by about between 5 to 7%. So that's why I'm saying that even in Nigeria, in anywhere in the world, particularly in Africa, that mobile money or fintech has taken a giant leap. There's that corresponding risks that is being identified. So for me, it's more about education, because right now, what fintech allows is that you as an individual has your banking details or your banking. For instance, back in the day, if you went to go to the bank for your transaction records, you have to stay in a queue. You sometimes have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But these days, just you and I mean, once you
here we can
once you do a mobile money transaction or transfer, you see the records there straight. You don't have to pay for it, and you can even request for it through that same platform.
Right.
Previously, that was not the case.
True.
You have to drive, and just imagine your records or your own banking details that you are paying for. You understand? So now the cost has been reduced. There's convenience, there is speed, and there is trust. That's basically what we are talking about.
And you said a lot of education must be done.
Yes.
Who is supposed to do education?
The association has started something like that.
Okay.
We are working on raising some funding to undertake a national or nationwide cyber security, data privacy, and digital financial literacy campaign awareness projects across the country. And so we are talking to the government, talking to private businesses and individuals to see how they can support. And so far, we've received an overwhelming response, and that is actually gauging how we are going to do this, because right now your banking details reside with you. The bank has it, you also have it. You can cross-check that data anytime. And so these are avenues that we need to use to tell people, or the education is needed for people to be aware that, they are actually custodians now of their own data, of their own records. And so these are the things they need to do to be able to prevent mobile money fraud, prevent hacking, prevent the cybersecurity issues that we are facing in the industry.
I'm very much interested, or I mean, excited about the fact that you're reaching out to other entities to do it. Because one thing I realize in Ghana is that when it comes to certain advocacies and certain projects like what you're going to do, we all do it in silos. So we tend to not get the results that we expect or we want to really achieve. So for instance, last week was drug abuse awareness. There was a day for that last week, Thursday or so. And you realize that everybody seemed to be doing something. FDA is doing their own thing. NACOC is doing same. Media platforms are also doing same. But we are not working together. And that is one of the problems that I saw. So it's good that you're calling them, and I think it should be something that you would run to. That's my humble suggestion to you, that you run it.
You see, one of the things like you said, one of the notable things we have seen in Ghana is the fact that when it comes to digital literacy or financial literacy campaign or awareness campaign issues, a lot of these businesses think they can do it by themselves, and we see a lot of fragmented and siloed approach to it. But for me, at this point in age, when we have decentralized the whole financial sector and ecosystem, there's the need to have unity on that front. There's the need to have all these players, both private and government, join hands together to fight some of these issues, because we cannot do it any longer as individual entities or individual companies.
Absolutely.
We need to, come together. Because cybersecurity, I just saw a report yesterday coming from Kenya that in that country presently, there are more, it's very interesting, there are more cybersecurity jobs or roles than there are professionals in their country. And the same thing is happening in Ghana here. So education, we all need to jump on the digital wagon to make sure that people are enlightened. It's really, really necessary and important. That is why at the association, one of the things we did to ensure that we are leveraging on some of the universities or the tools is to introduce some of these fintech courses in the universities. So we are doing that with the Noble International Business School, where we've introduced a Masters in Fintech program, a 1-year Masters in Fintech program. Then so as the years go by, we introduce more and more courses, particularly in the industry, so that we can get more professionals into the ecosystem, and that would help. But currently, we are, the country in itself does not have the capacity or the professionals, to match the kind of innovations we are seeing coming in day in and day out in the industry.
And why is that so?
Well, we've not. Who invests in education and trainings? How many people invest in that? Most people don't invest in that. I think the reason for that is when fintech became a thing, everybody wanted to just build solutions.
Okay.
Everybody was just building solutions. Okay, let me own a fintech, or let me build a fintech company. Let me, build a solution, for the mobile money. But then we're not thinking about that angle of the whole conversation, whereby we need professionals. If you build these companies or you own these companies, who are the people going to work in there? They are humans. So you need capacity. But we don't have enough capacity for some of the businesses or some of the solutions that we are seeing in the country.
So there's a huge gap in there that we need to fill. So it means that people should go into cybersecurity and all
cybersecurity, fintech, crowdfunding, digital payments, anything digital now, people should take advantage of it. I think that is also very crucial when we are even talking about financial inclusion. Because then how do you understand the technologies because one of the things I have come to tell people is fintech is not a weird concept. It's not for just the tech geeks.
Okay.
Just as I've explained it here, you actually understood that, okay, we just mobile money. We just, even the quick loan on the mobile money platform that we all even use to, sort ourselves out from time to time. You are actually engaged in the fintech ecosystem or the fintech industry.
Right.
Because once you can tap your phone to undertake that service, that is just fintech. So let's not think about it as a very broad or geeky subject. It's something we all do day in and day out without even knowing that
we are
partaking of the fintech ecosystem.
I see. We have just about 20 minutes to go. This is Business Breakfast on Zed. If you just tuned in, this morning we're talking about fintech in Ghana, the state of fintech in Ghana, and I've been joined by Mr. Martin Kwame Awaga. He's the president of the Ghana Fintech and Payments Association. We want to hear from you. You can send us a WhatsApp 0544321019. 0544321019. You can send me a WhatsApp, send me your questions, your contributions, or if there's anything you want to say, please do well to send me a WhatsApp right now. Also, the phone lines are open. Feel free to call me 03039 56641, 03039 56641, and I'll give you the opportunity to share your thoughts on what we're talking about this morning. We're also streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on at ZFMGH on Facebook, and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to drop a comment under our post and we'll read that for you. Okay, so let's talk about mobile money. We've been mentioning that slightly. Let's talk about mobile money and lending, so the good and the bad, and also the risky. What has mobile money done for Ghana's economy?
So mobile money has actually brought in some level of investment. It's also decentralized how people pay for goods and services, especially SMEs and businesses. And now we are seeing the uptake of digital credit. Okay, or lending. So that brings me to companies like Fido, and then the likes, Fido, Affinity, and all those businesses. But on that front too as well, we have also seen an increase in the businesses of remittances. Ghana received about between $4 to $6 billion when it comes to remittance inflows into the country. So there are like I said, there are different categories or segments of fintech provisions that are doing amazing things for the country. But the leading one, like we all can attest to, is the mobile money ecosystem. Now, like I said, and I keep saying, mobile money has decentralized how we undertake our financial services. Now, I know most people have 2 to 3 mobile money wallets, and even in a country as ours, mobile money has processed, as at April 2025, this year, mobile money has processed over 300 billion
in the first 4 months of
the year.
Wow.
So that basically is telling us that the industry continues to grow at an unprecedented. And for me, that kind of success we are seeing now is a result of the scrapping of the e-levy. Because that was a barrier for entry for people.
But there are people who don't agree, actually, because when you look at the data, the difference wasn't too huge. It was just something marginal.
Well, you would believe that. But for me, from all the case studies I have seen across the continent, there were other countries before us who introduced similar levies like that on electronic transactions, and they had to cancel it. So I don't know what took us that long, though. Anyway, So I mean, for me, I believe we are doing the right things. I believe government, and just today being 1st July, even the telcos will be reducing their bundle on data issues, 15%, and that is also another win for fintech businesses.
How?
Let me tell you, you run these mobile apps. Or you run all your mobile apps on data. Is that not so?
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. So if you open your mobile app, don't think mobile money or these people are not taking something from, are not running your data. Of course. So you run your data or your mobile apps on these platforms. Yes.
And so that will also get more people.
Exactly. So adoption and uptake. Let's see how that goes.
I see. But of course, fraud is rising.
Yes, fraud is rising.
What is happening?
Well, I always tell people, I always want to advocate for the fact that I think people are basically, Ghanaians are funny in a way of, let me say Africans, we are very interesting. We want to be rich through quick reach schemes. You know, there is also the increase of fake platforms.
Yeah.
But one of the things I always advocate for, that if any platform comes to you, be it investments, be it crypto, be it a fintech, if any business comes to you to invest on a digital platform or to take a loan, please verify these sources. And the only way you can verify these sources is through the Bank of Ghana website.
Yeah.
That is where you see all the list of all the license. License means authorized to undertake these businesses. That's where you only see all the licensed platforms that are, for instance, even remittance recently, the Bank of Ghana. Yeah, exactly. You understand? So make sure as an individual, you don't just start clicking on links or anything on the internet just because you want, a quick reach scheme, or somebody has promised you millions by clicking or donating. No, we need to be careful. And these are some of the reasons why these things are on the rise. That's why there's the need for an intensified campaign against it. You understand? And on 1st May, we at the association introduced a project which we call Cyber Heist. So there was a theatrical show that was hosted at the National Theatre on how to identify some of these issues.
I think I saw that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and the reception has been amazing. Funny enough, this same theatrical experience has been shared with Nigeria, shared with Tanzania, and they are interested in having this because in the play, and this is a very technical industry.
True.
And so to be able to bridge down that gap, I mean, for me, if some of the stories, some of the theater plays that I watched when I was growing up or when I was young, I still remember them. And these are ways for you to keep people engrossed and keep people to be able to spot some of these issues or some of these fraudulent activities that are ongoing. And so I think we are doing our very best, but we need support from both private businesses and government alike to make sure that the word trickles down to the very masses that we are trying to get the message to.
And I'm going to take you back to the financial inclusion conversation just for a few minutes. One of the barriers is language. So is there a way these fintechs can look at, translating the English to other languages to be able to
So you bear with me that Ghana, just like Africa, is very diverse. We are not like the West, where they have just maybe Spanish, Portuguese, English, French, and those. We are diverse. We are a continent with over 10,000 different dialects and languages. So we are very diverse. And even Ghana too, we are also experiencing that. So as part of the campaign awareness that we are talking about, to get the message to the people, what we are trying to do is to make sure we deliver these messages in the language they understand.
Right.
And even if you had the opportunity to be at the theatrical, this thing that we did, you'll see that we imbibed the local languages into the performances, so people can relate. They can say, "Oh, okay, this person spoke my language," or "I understand what the person is saying at this level," because these things are not so technical. They are not so technical, in as much as they are very technical.
Right.
I'm trying to.
I can understand.
So the complexities exist, and we are trying to bridge that barrier by leveraging on even the local languages. So there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. Honestly, let's understand that there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. And one of the things I always say is, when fintech became a thing, we're only preaching about the advantages, the opportunities. But then the risks are also there, and I personally have taken a strong approach to see how we can resolve them. So of course, financial inclusion is something at the heart of the fintechs, and that is basically what fintechs are there to do, and that's what they are there to achieve. And with financial inclusion, Ghana has come a very long way. Especially and that brings me to the convention of the Ghana Interbank Payments and Settlement Systems that has developed an interoperable system. Previously you couldn't send money to if you are with Bank A and I'm with Bank B, you couldn't send money to me.
That's true.
Directly. And even when the mobile money ecosystem also started, you couldn't do that. You couldn't send money from MTN mobile money to, let's say, Telecel Cash.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But Ghana developed, through GIPS, we were able to develop an interoperable platform that allows for these transactions to be done across businesses or across companies. And that has become a yardstick. I mean, we actually were awarded or recognized globally as the leading. Even Kenya does not have such interoperable systems.
I see.
That started mobile money. So you can just see the kind of work that our leaders and the ecosystem is trying to do here in Ghana. So yes, we need a pat on the back for that. In as much as we are
happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Well, but another challenge that is in the space is the digital lending.
Yeah.
You know, people have raised a lot of concerns. From where you sit, you think it's harming or helping people?
I think that's why I said earlier that people need to actually do some level of education for themselves. You know, one of the things I said was, in this day and age and with fintech, your data or your banking records are with you as an individual. And so for you to just say, okay, today I'm Kwame, I want a loan, and I just Google, or I go to Play Store, or I go to App Store, and I just say, loan, I need a loan, so I need a loan app in Ghana that's operating in Ghana that I can get money from. And when you do that, basically you are putting yourself at risk.
Yeah.
Because there are also, in as much as we are trying to sanitize the system, there are also fraudulent mobile lending platforms that are not licensed by the central bank or the regulator in the country. I think last 2 years or 3 years.
That briefly.
Yes, last 2 years or 3 years, there were about 97 that the Bank of Ghana, in addition to us, we were working together to frown on. 97. And these companies are still in the system. I mean, we should be mindful. These are businesses that come to you, they can give you, there's a range they give between 1,000 to 50,000 Ghana cedis. And you think they only tell you, send your PIN, send your this thing, your Ghana card, and that is it. And they start sending you messages and what have you. And we need to get people to understand that, no, these are not lines. No licensed business would approach you like that, because they're harvesting your data. They are doing you more harm than good. They give you the loan, and within a week or 2 weeks, they start pestering you and chasing you. You understand? So we need to understand that we have a responsibility as individuals, as partakers of the industry or the ecosystem, to be watchful of some of these things. So we need to, now it's not only the businesses that need to educate us. It's not only the businesses that need to educate us, but we need to educate ourselves and be mindful of what we do when trying to get loans or whatever, because they come even with the cheapest rates. So these are some of the red flags we need to be watching. But most importantly, I would like to emphasize that there's the need for you to always check with the regulator. Go to their website.
Right.
All this information exists.
So that is from the individual angle, or the angle of the individual. How about the regulator? What exactly is the regulator doing? Or don't you think there should be some more stronger penalties for regulating those applications and all of that?
Yes, for penalty, well, you can put all the penalties, but these are businesses that today, if they change their name from My Loan Ghana, though tomorrow, once you put the penalty on them, and you see, the business of fintech has brought, when I say convenient, most people do not need to be in an office, big office, brick and mortar office to undertake a fintech business. Some of these loan sharks or loan apps are operating in places you don't even know. You can't find their location. You can't find their office addresses. They just have a laptop sitting somewhere. That is why I think, you see, we need the police, we need the IOCO, we need all governments, regulators and policymakers. That's why there's, like I'm saying, how we are trying to fight Galamsey together in unison. It's the same way we need to fight some of these issues before it becomes or it gets out of hand.
But are those same challenges something we can see in other countries?
Yes. It's more pervasive in Nigeria.
Okay, so beyond Africa, I know Africa, their problems are the same. Whatever you find in Ghana,
in Kenya,
you probably
the
find
same
in
problem.
Kenya. Yes, but so let's look beyond.
Yes.
So in Europe and all of that, are they also facing these challenges?
So London or UK is doing something that I think we should all learn from. One of the things they are trying to do to prevent some of this or combat digital fraud is whenever they apprehend you, you are asked to refund the monies that the businesses you are asked to refund the monies you actually took from the businesses and giving some more fines on top of that. So they are doing it, the two. It's just like how, we the penalties we put on these companies. I think we should intensify that. You make sure they pay their clients back their full money, and then you are giving some serious penalties or fines to be able to deter people from doing these things. So those are some of the practical cases that we are seeing, and I think we can also adopt that if we really want to fight this menace.
I see, but of course the regulators have a very tough job to do.
A very tough job. Very
tough job. So, but do you think that the regulatory environment is supporting or slowing down fintech growth in Ghana?
No, I don't think so. What I think is the fact that the kind of innovations we are seeing, our technological tools we are seeing or driving the fintech force or ecosystem are coming at a faster pace than regulators are able to catch up.
Okay.
Because with regulations, you need to sit down, do months of research, and I take even years of research, understand that particular product or service that is coming on before you can be able to come out with the right regulatory framework for it. So it takes months, even years, to come out with the right regulatory framework for a particular industry, particularly in the fintech industry or the financial sector. One of the things that we want to be very careful about or mindful about is we don't want to rush regulations to cripple the industry. Okay? Because the financial sector over the decades has been built on trust. So once people do not believe in that trust, then things begin to fall asunder.
Right.
Because finance is everything. You go to the hospital, it's finance. You manufacturing is finance. The agriculture is finance. So that is a very, very, technical and tricky industry that you do not, because people's money is very important to them. We are building these technological tools, and if we don't take care, of course, innovations are far ahead of regulations, but then it doesn't mean they are limiting it. Okay, but they are just making sure that they provide a sound, stable environment. For these businesses to thrive and function.
Our time is almost up and we would have to go, but we can't go without talking about investments in the space and all of that, and so we'll touch on that briefly before we go. But if you just tune in, this is Business Breakfast on Zed on 101.9 FM with me, Nitrebi Hammond, and I'm talking this morning with we're doing this together, myself and Mr. Martin Kwame Awaga. He's a president of the Ghana Fintechs and Payments Association, and he's helping us have this conversation this morning. I'd love to hear from you. You can send me a WhatsApp on 0544-321019, 0544-321019, or you can call me on 03039566641, 03039566641. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to engage us, and we'll read your comments before we go. Now, let's look forward. Where's fintech in Ghana heading? Are Ghanaian startups getting the support, the funding, and the partnerships they need?
Well, I'll say not entirely. Not entirely. The reason being that most of the funds that has been raised by fintechs in Ghana, most of them were actually foreign funding. Okay? But in as much as that is the case, we've attracted a lot of foreign capital in this space, which is good.
Okay.
But then what I want to see going forward is the level of local participation when it comes to capital injection into the startups. Most of the fintechs are basically startups.
Yeah, that's true.
And according to the regulatory regime, you need a certain level of capital in millions of Ghana cedis.
And this is what I wanted
millions
you
of
to
Ghana
talk about when you talk about the regulators, because I know it will hamper a lot of people.
Yes, it is. And so one of the things I have found out, or I complain about all the time, is what this does is it doesn't allow for some of the fintechs to be able to invest in their businesses after even getting the license.
Yeah.
Because the fees are, excuse me to say, it's a lot, depending on the category you want. But most of the fintechs out of the 60, majority of them, over 40% of them, or 40 of them, over 40 of them are actually within the enhanced payments service provider category. And that involves some level of capital. And, for me, what I would see is for government to inject some level of funding, either debt or equity, and train people in terms of some of the solutions that are coming up. Because from where I sit, and like you said, I've seen a lot of amazing products. I've seen a lot of fintech products or solutions that can rival any in the world. But then these startups do not necessarily have the support from government. Of course, they pay a lot of taxes. So we need to see how we can, provide tax rebates for the industry, for some of these businesses, so they can thrive. Of course, they're also employing people, So, and that is why, we were championing for the Fintech Growth Fund. I think the current president mentioned he was going to inject 50 million into a Fintech Growth Fund. Which we are yet to see the light of day for that. But we are hoping.
We can only hope, yeah?
We can only hope, brother. We can only hope. So we are hoping that, this fund is made available to be able to support and nurture the young ones who are coming out with innovative ideas. And one of the things that you need to understand is that the fintech industry is a very agile industry, fast-paced. So then we don't, I would like to plead with the government that if you promise us these things, you should be fast with coming out with money so that we can be able to use it to run our business.
Amazing. But what are some of the exciting innovations happening in the ecosystem?
Yeah. So basically, crypto has been frowned upon by the regulator for some time. Happily, I'm happy to say that the governor announced that come September 2025, fintechs or the crypto businesses would start getting their licenses. We're also seeing open banking coming up strongly, the framework for open banking, then digital credit where you can, we want to make getting credit or access to credit very easier and faster and smoother without having to go through all these Herculean taxes with the commercial banks that, you and I know.
Yeah.
And so that is also coming up strongly. But one of the most important things we are going to see, or we are seeing, is embedded finance.
What's that?
Embedded finance basically means, for instance, in some countries, when you take an Uber, your credit card or your debit card or your mobile wallet is connected to that Uber app.
Okay.
So once your trip ends, basically you don't need to pay for that. Basically, the app automatically deducts that money from a wallet or and that's embedded finance.
Okay.
So we are seeing that also coming up strongly. E-commerce. So some e-commerce platforms, you have to key in your mobile money wallet or number, and that is also deducted once you make the transaction on the e-commerce platform. So these are exciting things that is bringing the convenience that we are talking about.
Yeah. But do you think Ghana can lead the West African fintech space?
Ghana is actually leading, not that Ghana can lead.
Amazing.
We are actually leading.
Amazing.
We're actually leading. We are not joking. When you talk of the top 5 fintech destinations in Africa, Ghana is actually part of that 5. Yes.
Wow.
McKinsey & Company came out with a research in 2023 that said that Ghana's fintech industry up until 2025. This year is going to be growing at a rate of 15%.
Wow.
Higher than the continental average of 10%.
I see.
So we are doing amazing.
Well. You and your people are doing well. Right, good stuff. So what advice would you give? I mean, my final question to you. What advice would you give to a young Ghanaian who wants to start a fintech company today?
I mean, be well connected. Make sure that you engage the regulator. One of the things I always say is, most people think regulators they see them as monsters. They see them as people not really ready to engage. But from where I sit, a lot of the times the banks and the regulators are now opening up to understanding the industry and are willing to engage.
Right.
Particularly the banks. Initially, I mean, when mobile money started, they were worried that what is the telcos doing in the financial sector. But now they end up getting to understand what that means for them. And when fintechs became, the norm, they were also skeptical. But these days, the banks are open to competition.
Yeah.
They are open to partnerships and collaboration. And so for me, I would always say that, as a young person starting, make sure you have your MVP, minimum viable product, ready and available. And, we can connect, you can reach out to the association as well. We can connect you to the ecosystem, investors alike, and also the regulators, so that you can engage and get the necessary support and advice to scale your business.
Mr. Martin Kwame Awaga, thank you very much for your time. Do you have any final words, or we are good?
I think that was my final word.
Okay, all right, okay. Thank you very much for coming. Really grateful that you made time to come talk to us this morning. All right, Mr. Kwame, Martin Kwame Awaga, Fintech Kwame, is the Ghana, is the president of the Ghana Fintech and Payments Association, and he helped us have this conversation this morning. We've spoken extensively about the state of fintech in Ghana, from financial inclusion all the way to regulators, and then the investment in the space. And it's been a great conversation. If you missed any part of this conversation, it will be live on our YouTube platform at Zed Multimedia, and also on Facebook at ZFMGH. You can visit those platforms and play it back. But thank you very much. This is how we wrap up today's edition of the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. My name is Nitrebi Hammond, and we're back again tomorrow for the midweek edition. It's a new month, so make sure that you put your plans in place and do the things that you have to do and make the rest of 2025 better. Have an awesome day, and when you think Ghana, please think Zed. See you tomorrow.
Na eba no say no do pay na mi nyediya edroboni na mi numwana anase mi kosha konfo se obi do wa unwana na inye wukikano na mitiyo Arira chichire mi do unimse if you only power Ababa Sophia, and I'm also namite odasi. Nasafi NS Ekimia, Afena Oko, no way. Fire ajiwonwa yemfreno paiwo semafumu wakatremyo na mimpa ucha nenyese yejayo kwe Arira chichire mi do unimse if you only power Ababa we eyinimo eyinanwa edikosyo mubana seyo Sophia, I said, Enyimimo, see me one botre. Ya meyo piano famisa. Yena benuswa, yena benusna eyo. Na fei ande, mama tafwenya miyo. If you're on the power, Ababa way, any mo. Ainano, get the function, Wana, say yo, Sophia. I say, you Shebuya, and you're I read it to me, don't if you're on the power.